have to be a public system.
Right.
The way the district is being defined, they would have to have access to a state route, access to public sewer, and there was a third item, and at least 20 acres.
You know, I may make a suggestion, and I'm not gonna, I'm spitballing here a little bit. This is very specifically defined for this situation.
So when it says access, does that mean that they have to tie into the sewer, or that they have access to the sewer, but if they opt to go in their own private septic, that they can do that?
The intent, if it's not worded that way, but the idea was that it would have, you would have to use the public system.
You can't put septic on these kinds of wells.
Right.
It's not possible.
But I'm just saying,
Yeah.
so that's because I think you're probably aware of the problem we're having right now in Chardon Township.
Oh, yeah.
You know, that this is basically, we're setting ourselves up for another nightmare down the road. And I guess, because I'm gonna have to leave here in a couple minutes, and you know, and I'm gonna, you know, move to vote no on this based on the fact that all of the calls that we've gotten, and with, you know, I've gotten in the commissioner's office and personally from a lot of different residences, is that basically it's a situation that once, you know, we're basically what we're doing is we're basically eliminating our, you know, large lot zoning in Geauga County, and this is just one more step of, you know, reducing that footprint, putting multiple houses into an area. This is zoned already by the township as this. You know, going with this change is going to increase fire service, medical service, burden on the schools, just a whole lot of other things with very, very minimal contribution to the bottom line of the base, of our tax base, of what those homes are really going to provide. These are not going to be a 1,200 square foot, you know, apartment condo. How much really is it going to bring in tax revenue? So there's been a big concern. All the calls that we've received, you know, is that I haven't received anything positive, I guess, is the best way I could put it. You know, and the other concern is that, you know, just basically based on where that footprint is, you know, I've had a number of people that have called from the, you know, conservation park district type, you know, people that have said it basically is right on the border of where all of that, you know, lush, you know, Ladue Reservoir watershed type of areas, and they, you know, are somewhat concerned about that. I unfortunately am in a position that you know, I'm the messenger that gets these calls, you know, and so you know, my position is based on the amount of calls that we've gotten, I'm gonna say no on this, because I'm gonna have to leave here soon. So
I want to just kind of talk about what you brought up, because I think it's really important. I think one of the biggest complaints that I've seen from like people in general, I know I was at a workshop where there was probably, I don't know, over 50 people and we were talking about what Geauga County needed to do as far as economic development and that sort of route. And one of the big topics was affordable housing. That there isn't any, the people that want to age in Geauga County can't do it. And I think this is something that is addressing that. So there might be a need, but I know there's a lot of pushback. But at the beginning of this, it didn't say that, it said 55 or older, or, you know, it didn't specifically state that it would be designated only for that. It was multiple, and that's, you know, one of the conversations I had with somebody just actually yesterday morning, is that there's no specifics to say, if it was something similar to like what's over by Notre Dame and Munson, you know, that has been designated that it is going to be for, you know, this group of people, and it's going to be, you know, basically chartered that way, and that's the way that it moves forward. I totally understand it. It's probably difficult, and, you know, people get to a point in time in their life, they don't want to get out and cut the grass, they don't want to, you know, have maintenance. I totally understand that, but they still want to live in this county. I understand. But the way that this is set up, it's not really a situation that it's 55 or older. It's, well, we're not approving the way that it's set
right,
up. We're
right.
just saying, can we have multifamily residents
Sure,
in this township? I think that's the question we have today.
yeah.
I mean, that's how I see it.
Yeah, yeah. The question is, can Auburn have a residential multifamily district of 20 acres or larger that is on a state route attached to a public sewer and do the rest of the definitions within the zoning make sense as it relates to the
That would-
security, the safety for that district.
And that would be single story with two-car attached garages.
And a maximum of
With all the other
2
stuff.
Right.
Big balloon is 20-acre district, access to a state route, access to, and required to use public sewer system. Does that meet the safety and security of the township? And we understand that there's a development plan, but that's really not, our job is not to improve the development plan. Ours is, does this zoning request, does it make sense, is it appropriate, is it done well, so that it would be, that it would work. Personally, I'm almost always in favor of anything that reduces commercial and gets it back into residential, so I personally have no issue with this, but that's just me. And you have no
It's the
question.
location of where the land is versus the land that's adjacent to it, so you open it up for this one, and then the property to the south does the same thing next thing, you know, you have 220, 240 units.
You need this.
And they could go to the west of it, and they could go to the north of it, yeah, so.
That's where the township having the envision, their vision of what that should be.
And then you have 220 residents against the gas station, which
Right.
you need.
The gas station was one of the items per their land use plan that was most desired, and I heard talks of a gas station, but that didn't come to fruition because ODOT not allowing a left out. That was a proposal that was north of 422. So yeah, the more people you put there, the more commercial services would definitely be needed.
I don't want to rush this discussion because I think it's important, but what are our options at this point? What decision do we have to make today?
Huh?
Okay, would you discuss it?
We can approve it as presented. We could approve it with modification. Or we can deny it, and we need to state, clearly what our reasons for denial are. If we feel that this has been rushed, I could say that we could table this until our next meeting to better prepare. So, that's what I would see on the table as our options.
I feel rushed.
I feel rushed. I mean, there's too many complications in this whole thing. And, one of the basic questions I have is, as a board, what is our decision? Because whatever decision we make, it's Auburn's choice. And so, part of me sides with Ralph in terms of a large lot, and I'm just not, I just sorted that out yet.
This is a property owner initiated
Right.
zone. So this would go to the zoning commission. Zoning commission would be required to have their public hearings to bring up the recommendation. At that hearing, they're required to read our response, either approval, modification, or denial. Then they go through the public hearing process.
I think the public hearing is scheduled.
I don't know.
Yes, yes, it is.
October
October
17th.
17th.
Dale,
So
from
our
a
next meeting
timing
is prior.
perspective, if they table it today,
We have to withdraw and resubmit.
yeah.
Yeah, I was just gonna mention that. And we're not opposed to that. We don't want you to be rushed either. We want you to take your time. We know Linda had very little time to work on this. There's a lot more input that we wish we could have had with her too. So what we can do is we can withdraw the application and give you more time to study it and then come back and have a public hearing in November rather than October 17th. So I've just said at the bottom, we have no objection to do.
I would think that might be the prudent thing to do right now,
Yeah.
because we have two members that are getting ready to walk out.
Right.
I don't think we want to have, I can't have a vote then after that, so.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
so we will table this until
Yes.
you have resubmitted.
Yes.
We actually have, yeah, so
You want a motion?
a motion to
Table it?
table.
Table.
So moved.
Second.
Jim and Jim, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, the motion is tabled.
Yep.
And everybody leave